Got it. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share this real quick.
People are probably in church.
Probably. You'd be surprised though. I actually get some that see the live thing pop up and they're like, oh, and they hop on here. So then, let's see, find my group. There we go. And it gives people a chance to join.
I love your logo.
There we go. Hey, Matt. There's Matt. All right. Hello, everybody. I know we're doing impromptu live, but that's okay. It is a Sunday, and we have my friend here, my friend and surrogate sister, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Miss Fiona O'Hagan have audio too. What does that mean? Can you hear the audio? Audio is fine. Let me know, sure. Let me know that the audio is fine. We have to use the microphone through the camera, so it's not going to be quite as good today with the audio, but I don't know where my husband put the microphone. Oh, it's actually right there. That's okay. Because we would have to literally both talk into the mic at the same time if we used it. So it is what it is. I guess we could start it over and do it again with that, but that's all right. Okay, just let me know if you can hear. If we need to talk a little louder, we'll talk a little louder. I used to do it through the camera all the time, so we're back to basics here. But anyways, Fiona, go ahead and introduce yourself too. You've been on my show twice
I've
before.
been on your show before 3 times, I think.
Is it that many? Yeah, 3 times, but that's all right.
Okay, so I'm Fiona and I'm from Ireland. I'm married to Clive, and we're the O'Hagans. So yeah, we first met the McMurtry's in 2018, and we've become really good friends since, and we try and come over whenever we can. We obviously, because of COVID, we couldn't come for 4 years, 19, 20, yeah, 4 years.
Oh, yeah. Long
So
time.
yeah, we came over to join them for their son's wedding. So we go home tomorrow. We had a really, 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 really great time. Yeah.
Yes.
Just hanging out.
So anytime that our government will let them over, they're coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they had actually scheduled a Sheen, their 14-year-old, to come over because Biden hadn't lifted the mandates yet. So he was here for 3 weeks earlier in the summer and then went home and then came back for the wedding.
Yeah,
so.
Because if you were under 18, you could come into the country. But if you were over 18, you couldn't. So rather than him miss out, we scheduled for him to come. And then your daughter and your 2 daughters and son came to us. And then Biden lifted it. So then we all came.
Yep.
So unplanned, but it was great.
Yes. Yeah. And that's without the jab, of course. If you're a jabbed, you can, but some choose not to get it. So,
or if you're a citizen, you can.
Yes.
If you're unjabbed.
Because we were able to go to Ireland and back, no problems.
Yeah.
Because we weren't, but Biden wasn't letting Irish people.
Exactly.
Or other people from countries in until just the summer.
Yeah, it was the Schengen region, so it was mostly European countries.
Yeah, typical. So anyways, she lives over there, but I kind of wanted to do this show. Hi, Julia. Hi, Shara. And then there's Shara. Shara's
Hi, Shara.
I kind of wanted to do this show because I know a lot of women ask health-related questions, like especially in our Gently Led Sisters group. And I have been personally this summer trying to get healthier. And I've been doing we'll kind of talk about it as we go. I didn't want to like really talk about it much until I started seeing results. You know how that is. But I have lost 10 pounds doing it. And like, I'm averaging about 1 pound a week, which for me, I'm a turtle. I have very slow metabolism. It takes me a long time to lose weight. So I'm thrilled with if I'm averaging 1 pound a week, I'm thrilled with that. But it's kind of similar to what you do. I know with the calorie counting, especially, but go into your weight loss journey of kind of like when you peaked and when you decided you need to really focus on, getting your health under control.
Okay. So as a child, I was very fit. I was an Irish dancer. So I was very skinny and small, petite, tiny. And then as a teen, I developed asthma, so I had to give up Irish dancing, and then my mom fed me as if I still exercised 5 days a week, and butter, potatoes, and everything, and the weight piled on. So I suppose I've always, like I say, suffered with my weight, because it is a suffering to me. Because when I feel heavy, it gets me down. Anyway, so then I had a lot of weight lost when I met my husband, and then we went on to have. I had 3 pregnancies, and over that time I gained a huge amount of weight. So I probably got to, now I know you do stones, no, you do pounds. So I was, bear in mind,
I can do it on my calculator.
Yeah, I'm 5'2", so I'm very small. And at one stage I weighed 14.5 stone. So that's 14 by 14 plus 7. So
okay, so
over 200
over
pounds.
200 pounds, right over 200.
Yeah, and it really, really got me down. And it was when the boys were small, and one day, now I have 2 boys. So one day we were at the back playing, and they were playing football, and I was trying to play football, and I got a pain in my side, and I just felt horrible, and I just sat there and I thought, I have to do something. So I started to lose weight myself, because I was too embarrassed. And that's what can happen when you're overweight. You're too embarrassed to go to a weight loss group or to talk to somebody or to try anything. And then you think, no, I failed, so I'm going to fail again. And then I was still too embarrassed even to go to the gym. So I did nothing, and the weight kept going up and up. And then one night I just completely lost it. And I sat down with my husband and I said, I have to do something. So I lost about, I'd say 10 pounds on my own. And then I joined a group called Slimming World. And that was probably my most successful time ever that I lost weight. And Slimming World is about eating what we call free foods. Now, I know Weight Watchers have gone down that road, but they copied Slimming World.
They copied.
Yeah, and I ended up then working with Slimming World, and I became what they called a team development manager. Anyway, so I got down to about 137 pounds.
Wow.
So I was under.
So that was 60 some pounds.
Yeah.
You lost.
Yeah. Now, when I was that weight in my head, I don't think I'll ever get over the fear of putting on that weight again. And what I want to say as well is that when you're trying to lose weight, if you can take your focus off good and bad foods, take your focus off, I have to go to the gym, I have to go for a walk, because there's some people that are like 200, 300 pounds plus, they can't even think about going for a walk or going to the gym. So it's 80% your food first. And so that's what I did. I just took it day by day. I had weekly weigh-ins, and the weight just started to drop off. And if you can just do 2 or 3 consistent weeks where you stick to something and you start to see the results, then the motivation kicks in, and you get this like feeling in the pit of your tummy, or it's that excitement, and off you go. Now, I have put on weight and lost weight since, but I have a weight where the fear comes in. And of course, now I'm in my 50s, so it's the menopause. So there's always something, but there's always something.
Yeah.
You see mom just after having a baby, and then you get over all that, and maybe some, you've got lots of kids running around, and you leave yourself to last and everything like that. So anyway, so when I got to my ideal weight, then it was easy to maintain it.
How old were you when you got to your ideal weight?
40. It was 2015. So what are we now? 2015, 2023. So it's 8 years ago. So I was like 43, 44.
Okay, so a little bit right around my age.
Yeah. And it can be done, because some people say, oh, it's my age, or whatever. And I know I could write the book for the excuses. But the one thing, weight is a constant. It's like a wheel going around and around, and you hop on, you try to lose the weight, and then you get depressed because it's not happening or whatever. And then you keep eating. It's like, thanks. Yes, I'm 52. Yeah, it's like a constant battle, and you're just going around and around and around. And if you eat the wrong thing, you get guilty. And if you eat, so I've learned that you will never ever, ever be at the one weight. Like you could weigh yourself in the morning and be one weight, and then in the evening be 6 pounds light or heavy or whatever. So for me, I had to find the balance between my kids, my husband, myself, and at the time I worked, I don't work anymore, and to find that balance. So, but nothing tastes as good as feeling skinny. Did you ever hear that?
Yes.
And it's true, not that I'm skinny, but that, now I've had a holiday. So before I came here, then I started to calorie count. So I probably entered menopause probably 2 years ago, started the whole thing. And or perimenopause, whatever they call it. And it wasn't that I wasn't being healthy. I just didn't really want the healthy foods. I wanted the bread, and I love to cook and I love to bake. So I started to put on weight and I gained 2 stone. So then I lost 1 stone and 3 pounds that before I came over. And we haven't been eating rubbish here. No takeaways, no rubbish.
We've been eating good food. We've been eating food, but good food.
Good food. But I've not been calorie counting, but I don't feel like I've put on a whole pile of weight, probably a few pounds. But I've learned that that's not the end of the world. And if I put on a few pounds, it doesn't have to mean I put on a few stones. Do you know what I mean? I know there's a lot of younger moms that watch your show. Your cycle will have a big thing to do with your weight as well.
That's what Julia just said too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you retain more water, yes, and you want the foods that make you feel better. The salt. Some people are salt, some people are sugar. So I've probably gone a bit of a rant there, but that's how I lost my weight. And now I have a weight I don't go past.
Right.
And I get scared.
I call it a panic weight for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to have a panic weight a couple years ago, and I went past that, but I'm very close to that now. I'm almost back down to my panic weight. So I'm just going to try
you
to
look great.
going.
Let me say, I see her in the flesh, and you do look great. You've lost weight. And
I've lost 10 pounds so
yeah,
far.
but it looks a lot on you. Because you're in the gym.
I will, and I feel it. Oh yes, I started lifting weights. Yeah, a couple months ago. But and we'll kind of get into what I'm doing, because we'll talk about it. Just different things that are very easy changes. In your diet. That really shocked me when I started counting calories. I started this with a friend 2 months ago. When we keep each other accountable. We send each other pictures and of our meals, and then of our calories that are in meals. And I stay right around 1,300 calories a day.
Yeah, me too.
Sometimes less, sometimes 1,500, but I try not to go over 1,500 a day.
Yeah.
And losing weight the slow way is better than going on a crash diet and losing 5 pounds right away, right?
Yeah.
Or half a stone right away.
Yeah. And I think you have to bring it back to basics. And in the world that we live in now, it's fast. And, people are fast. Convenience foods, processed foods are the worst foods, because they're packed full of salt, packed full of sugar that you don't see. So when I was in my classes, I would have people coming to me all the time saying, oh, I do this and I do that, and I don't eat very much. And it's not about how much you eat, it's what you eat. So we were just talking beforehand, and things that help busy moms, I suppose, starting off, if you can even just set small targets. So say, I'd like to lose 5 pounds this month. You'll probably lose 5 pounds in 2 weeks. So little targets that will help you. Julia said, I lost 5 and then gained 10. Yeah. So like having realistic targets. So basically, some people like to do fasting. I think if you're overweight and you're starting off, you're better off having 3 meals a day. One thing for me is that I notice in America, and it's not a criticism, and I said this to Cassandra before, drinks. Okay, so
no, it's huge. When I started counting calories, the first iced coffee I got with regular cream and regular sweetener, 250 calories. I'm like, that would have been a whole snack. And even, a decent size meal. So that really woke me up. So since I've been subbing things, almond milk for the cream, sugar-free sweeteners, which people have mixed emotions about sugar-free, but I don't mind sugar-free. I'm not as crunchy as most people.
I am, but that's just because of the health benefits, and that's where I would come from. Now, having said that, I mean, I don't know what I got today. It's lovely.
Almond milk.
There's
some sugar in it from the sweetener, but it's probably maybe around. I found a way to get 90 calories or less at Dunkin'.
So if drinks is your thing, like drinks are Cassandra's thing, she's found a healthy way around it, and that's what I'm trying to say. So if you like sodas, you're not doing your body any favors with all the sugar. And if you go diet, then it's all this aspartame, which is proven it's linked to cancer. And I've been saying this for years, and only recently an article came out on mainstream media, so then it's true. But if you can find whatever your thing is, so like my thing is bread. I love bread. I love eggs. But I've learned, like, I now eat loads of fresh fruit, fresh veg. And I mean, you don't have to spend a fortune. You can find, like, Aldi do really good fresh fruit and fresh veg. In Ireland, we have they're 2 brothers that fell out and one opened another company. They do a great range of organic veg and organic fruit. So it's to find whatever your food is that you love and make it free, if you like, like, so I make a pasta sauce. Like, I love
Mhm.
pasta and
Mhm.
ground beef. We call it minced meat, you call it ground beef.
Ground beef.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I would make ground beef and throw in an oxo cube, some garlic and herbs, and then a tin of tomatoes, you know, like the tomato
Mhm.
puree, and have with the pasta, but mostly salad. So it would be a little bit of pasta. And one thing I did when I was losing the weight was I would have 1/3 meat, 1/3 pasta, 1/3 veg
Mhm.
or salad.
Mhm.
So it was really good food that fills you up and helps you lose the weight quicker.
Mhm.
And bread alternatives, you can find good bread alternatives that are low in calorie and good breads, like little Slims bagels. I don't know, do you do those yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Bagel thins.
I love bread bagel thins. So I'd have a
Mhm.
bagel thins with eggs if I didn't want, sometimes I'd have now I'm not low fat now, but when I lost all the weight, I did do low fat.
Mhm.
But I did find that low fat affected my joints and my skin. Because just for me anyway. So then I had to look at, as I got older, I had to look at what my body needed more, and I needed good fats.
Mhm.
So people are afraid of fat, but good fat is good for you. So like
Mhm.
good butter, good cheese, not a lot, but a little. So like you would do Trim Healthy Mama as well, wouldn't you?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
you would have good fats.
Yes, I started, I figured out when we started the calorie counting a couple months ago that I think bread was making me puffy. I felt bread was making me puffy. So I completely cut out the wheat a couple weeks before my son's wedding. And that's when I saw the most drastic weight loss, was when I totally cut out. Like, I was doing the bagel thins. Ezekiel bread is okay. That's a gluten-free, really healthy bread here.
Yeah, Julia said einkorn.
Yeah, einkorn's a good wheat, and spelt also. Spelt is another form of, it's kind of like einkorn in the fact that it's a pure wheat. It's the manufactured white flour.
Yeah, the bleached white flour. Yeah, because it blows you up, and as a woman. But I think as well, when you find so what I was saying was, don't skip meals. So I've done it all. I've done keto, Slim and World, Weight Watchers, Unislim. I've done everything. And for me, I had to be able to eat 3 meals a day. I did do intermittent fasting when I was suffering a little bit with arthritis, but that was more to fix my body. But if you don't need breakfast, then don't eat breakfast.
I don't eat breakfast these days.
And that's okay, because you don't have, but if you are somebody who likes a lot of food, it's good to have 3 meals a day, and maybe 2 small snacks. But for me, it was cut the snacks, 3 meals a day, cut the drinks. I was never a big fizzy drinker anyway. And I would drink water and coffee. Now when I'm here, I'm having iced coffees and things. That's my holiday. That's different. There's huge calories in drinks.
Yes, huge.
Huge calories in snacks that you wouldn't see. So snack on things like fresh fruit, apples or banana, or I don't know. Popcorn is a good one.
Popcorn's very low calorie.
Yeah, I'm a real bread, cheese, crisp, savory sort of person. And in the morning, I always had my breakfast, always had my lunch, always had my dinner. And then I stopped eating at 6, because it gave my body a chance to, your body has to process the food. Your body has to, process everything and repair itself.
My husband does not like eating past 7. He's really picky about that. And he can kind of, sometimes I'll have a snack and he's like, "You're eating this late." It's like 9 or 10. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm hungry." I know it's bad, but usually it's just popcorn or something.
That works for you then. See, and it works, because some people say, "Oh, don't do this, don't do that." I just think you have to make it work for you. I had one lady who lost 8 stone with me, so that was 14 by 8. That's 8. 4 is 32. That's 100. Yeah. Oh no, it's more.
Yeah, over 100.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, over 100 pounds. And we had to start somewhere. She was scared. She was like, "I can't go for walks. I can't go to the gym." I said, "You don't have to. You just concentrate on the food first. Simple. See there, Sarah said it. Switches. Simple switches.
Yeah, it switches. That's what I found with the calorie counting. It's switching out. You can find ways to still do the things that you love. Like mine is the drinks. Not so much bread for me. That's not a big part of it. But I would rather have a matcha latte than a piece of bread or a roll. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
or like,
sugar-free kinds.
You know the way you use a wrap, we'll say, for a sandwich.
Right.
Try 2 eggs, make a flat omelette, put some ham, avocado, whatever, scallions, a bit of cheese, wrap it up and have it with a salad. So straight away you're taking out the carbs and you're having this lovely, you just get used to anything. Eggs are a great source of protein. Just watch the fats on the meat, cutting the fat off your steak, rather than having because they're extra calories you really don't need, and it's not going to, It's not going to give you any
Mhm.
nutrients. Another thing I wanted to say was, one thing, my mantra, and my husband laughs and he still does, I always say, how's this going to benefit me, my body, as in health-wise? Because as you get older, you need to be more aware of your health. Thank God I'm never sick, and I don't get sick very often. But it's because I think that I try my best to just eat what benefits me or sustains me. I don't like going to McDonald's. I don't like fast food. I do at the odd time. I'm not saying that I don't, but I just try. So yeah,
there's even ways around that too. I can eat pretty much any restaurant can eat low carb.
Yep.
You can buy at Culver's. I just get the burger without a bun.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the tomato, lettuce, everything on it, cheese even. And then I'll get like a soup, a low cal soup. They have stuffed green pepper soup. That's lower carbs, lower
Soups
calorie.
are brilliant.
And that fills me up. I'm just taking away the carbs of the fries and the bun. There's so many carby things that we eat.
Yeah. And
without even realizing it.
If you've one day in the week that you say, I'm going to go and have a bun, a burger bun,
right,
whatever, because that's my thing. Or I might decide I'm going to have a Chinese takeaway because that's my thing, or whatever. Just have little goals that you set yourself, or you might buy yourself a nice dress in a size down from what you are now, hang it on the wardrobe, or you know, little goals that are going to, but it's just not looking at, if you are somebody who's like, say, 300 pounds, it's not looking at that as a big, huge thing, because you're going to get depressed and you're going to think, how am I ever going to get down to 130 pounds or 140 pounds? Or you might decide you want to be 150 pounds. Everyone is different. I'm only 5'2", so that's why I can't really cope with much more.
Right. And I'm 5'6", so my goal weight is 160.
Yeah.
You know, so mine's a lot higher than what your goal weight is.
Because I'm only 5'2".
Right.
So yeah.
And we all have different ones. And then Sarah asked, or she said, cheese is a huge part of my diet. And if I take out cheese and simple carbs, I'm hardly eating. I think, Sarah, I think you would like Term Healthy Mama, because you do get the good fats in that. But then they also have E meals. They have S meals and they have E meals. The S meals has all your cheese in it. So you could eat for breakfast scrambled eggs, cheese, and avocado, and that's your S meal. For lunch, maybe you want something with an E, so that's when you would eat the quinoa with the chicken breast. You know, there's all sorts of things that you can.
Rice, pasta. And all I'll say is that, though, you have to look at the nutrients, so you're not going to get much nutrients from just eating cheese and carbs.
Yeah.
So that's why you have, like, it would be good for you to introduce, as you said, the different types of meals where you're getting the types of food you like, but you're also introducing healthier foods or healthier choices. But if you like cheese, I also used to weigh out my cheese. I know that probably sounds ridiculous, because cheese I love it, but it does lead you to put on, you know, more weight than not. Like, I could eat a block of cheese. I love it. So I had to start weighing out my cheese and just giving myself a little bit in my omelette that morning. And then when I did Slimming World, they were called healthy extras. So you could have some cheese and you could have some milk. You were allowed 2 a day, but not more than that. So that's why I got used to that then. So
she used to weigh everything too.
I did
weigh everything.
And even when I'm calorie counting, I know you might think, oh, that's a pain and I'm very busy and whatever. But I'm going to help you with that in a minute, Sarah, when you're talking about survival foods, because as a busy mom, it would be great to have food there that you can nip to any time of the day. Because you're not going to say, oh, I'm going to get up at 8 and have my breakfast. I'm going to have my lunch. You mightn't get your breakfast until 11 or 12. So you have 3 littles. So even, do you have a slow cooker? So even putting so even putting on a soup at nighttime, pick whatever soup you love. I love a winter vegetable soup, carrots, parsnip, things like that. And I'd always have had soup in my fridge. So I just need on it, or in your slow cooker or whatever. And then always been able to go to that. Or healthy snacks. I don't know, what would you suggest, like, for
well, if you're doing Trim Healthy Mama, healthy snacks would be, an E version would be popcorn, air popped popcorn. That's usually at night. Meat sticks, cheese sticks, yogurts.
Oh, I have another one. Egg
berries.
Berries. Yeah. Egg muffins are brilliant too, Sarah. So if you have your egg and just, you know, whisk it and put it in the muffin tray. So put an oil. Yeah, put an oil on your muffin tray, and you can put in your little bit of cheese and ham and a bit of onion or whatever, and pop them in the oven, and then put them in a sealed container in the fridge. So then every time you're hungry, instead of going for the cheese and the bread, you just pop one of the, and plus they're going to fill you quicker and for longer because they're full of protein, and you have your cheese in there as well. Maybe have a low carb cracker.
Wassa crackers are good. I use Wassa crackers, and I'll put a thin layer of the Laughing Cow cheese with cucumber slices and dill, or the everything bagel seasoning.
Yeah.
Very low carb, low calorie. It fills you up. It's a nice little snack.
And if you like salad, a bag, you can buy a bag of washed lettuce, put it into a sealed bowl, add in cucumber, tomato. That would last you the day you make it, plus 2 days once it's in the fridge. You know, have that with maybe an omelette. So that's like breakfast, lunch ideas. Dinner ideas, then I lived with my slow cooker. I mean, my Instapot, which I only got recently, is the best invention ever. They're not huge at home, but we got one anyway. My husband got me one on Amazon, I think. But the slow cooker is fantastic when you have littles. You can make everything in it, and you can start your slow cooker. Just throw your meat in, throw your veg, throw your tinned tomatoes, throw your sauces, and that's like a bolognese mix. Is that what you call it? We call it a bolognese, like a spaghetti.
No, we call it just
meat
spaghetti
sauce. Yeah, so we call
sauce.
it. Yeah, and then the next day you could add in a tin of kidney beans and some chilies, and then you have a chili. So that's 2 days dinner. And then if same with chicken, or you know, like I know some of your foods are different here. Like I say things and you're looking at me.
No, you're saying a tin. It's just the tin thing again. Remember?
Tin. Oh, it's a can here.
Can.
So a can of
throw a tin in and
yeah.
I have to compute. What's a tin?
Or a can of tomatoes or whatever. So, and again, you know, weight loss, when you're heavy or you feel you have weight to lose, it can get you down. That's the worst part for me.
I feel down when I'm heavier. And we were just talking about it this afternoon. I was like, my back's actually not doing too bad. I haven't gone to the chiropractor since March, and I'm not doing too bad. And I think part of it is just losing weight. Every pound that you lose is going to help back and joint and ligaments. And then too, I've started weightlifting, and I think that's strengthening muscles, strengthening my back. So it's just little things that add up.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to ever message me privately, I can help you with meals or suggestions. They wouldn't all
She
come
loves
to
doing
mind.
that type
I
of
love
stuff.
food. Yeah, I've helped a lot of people through the years, but soups are good as well. Like a soup to have in the fridge that you can just take out a cup and pop it in the microwave or pop it in a pot or whatever you want to do. So yeah, quick and easy dishes. I would make rice. I'd chop up vegetables, like a savory rice. And then all I'd have to do is add the chicken. And then, of course, when you have kids, some of them like sauce and some of them don't. And, you know, so you're trying to feed everybody, and then it's you. But what we were talking about weighing your food, the reason I weigh my food is when I'm calorie counting is so I'm 100% spot on. And when I don't, then my weight slows down. When I do, my weight loss is better. But that can be...
yeah, explain a little bit of just the plan that you followed when you started. Was it calorie counting with Slimming World?
No.
You don't calorie count at first. And you said...
It is calorie counting, but it's all behind the scenes because you don't want people to have to worry about it.
Right. But you said when someone is rather large, you don't start out so much by calorie counting, just focusing mainly on what they're eating.
Switches. Okay. What you're eating. So, and I don't mean to sound harsh, but if you have weight, like say you have 5 or 6 stone to lose, and you come in and you say, nah, I'm only losing a pound a week or a half pound, or it's not working, something's wrong. And everybody can lose weight. Everyone, unless you have a really bad thyroid problem or something, but everybody can lose weight. And if you're not losing weight, then you're going over on your calories because it's calories in, calories out. But in Slimming World, we never ever spoke about calories, but it was calorie based. But the reason I follow calories now is because all that slowed down for me, and I had to find a way to start losing weight again. And then I realized, okay, my body needs less food now. I'm getting older, and I find it harder to lose the weight as I get older. But like high protein, low carb diet be okay for weight loss. I've done everything, and for me it's balance for me, because I miss, like, low carb is definitely good. It's definitely better, and I think if you're calorie counting, you're probably doing low carb anyway, because you're not going to waste your food on just carbs, you know, as in
there are so many calorie and carbs.
Yeah,
there really are. I found that out.
Switching to things that are very good for you, like instead of, we say, rice is delicious and I love it. I'm not really a big pasta person. It never fills me, but I would switch to couscous. Do you have that here? Or quinoa? excuse me, quinoa.
We do have the first one that you said, but
Couscous.
it's not as popular.
Yeah, and so easy make. If you can find couscous in your shop, you literally put in a bowl, add hot water, cover it. You don't even put it on the stove. And it swells out, and then you can add in peppers and onions and seasonings and things like that. So yeah, like you can do high protein, low carb, absolutely 100%. For me, it's a balance because I miss things when but I tend to do low carb, to be honest, when you're calorie counting. Yeah.
Because you get more bang for your buck.
Yeah, there you are.
With that.
And I like lots of food. I can eat more food than my husband, hands down. I'd be like, and you know, my husband would be very good. He'd stop when he's full and he might leave that much on the plate. Whereas that's sacrilege. I couldn't do that. I'd have to clear the plate, maybe lick it, you know. So I've had to learn to just eat until I'm full.
Fiona's love language is food.
Yeah.
Making food for people, cooking food, eating
yeah.
food.
Yeah. 100%.
Taking people out to eat. That's her love language.
Yeah. That and cleaning.
Yes.
So I'm available. If anybody wants to get me a visa, I'm here.
As we said that she needs to make her own cleaning, start her own cleaning business.
Yeah, I know.
In Ireland.
Sad.
And food planning. So it was mainly, if someone is very, very large, where can they start if they are overwhelmed? I know we kind of touched on this already, but just switching out the foods, correct? You know,
cut out snacks.
Yeah.
As in,
that's a big thing.
So cut out the unnecessary snacks. And what I found for me when I was helping people was they're like, I don't really eat that much. Okay, so write down what you eat in a day.
Start writing it down. You'll be shocked.
Yeah. Write it down and you will be so shocked. Don't calorie count. Don't do anything. Just write down and especially if you're a busy mom with kids. I remember Oisín, my son, it's an Irish name, by the way. So Oisín used to love toast and butter, but he hated the crust. So I cut the crust off and instead of putting it in the bin, I was eating it. And I would not know I was eating it. And it was only when I stopped and thought, you know, and I started to write everything down, that's when I realized I was doing things like that. And then again, be honest with yourself. Nobody's watching and nobody cares. Only us. We're the only ones that care. My husband would never, ever, ever say anything to me.
Mine wouldn't either.
No.
With some of them know better. Why are you eating this late?
Yeah. And so I know, but like they might, you know, or you know, if it's like you ask your husband, what does this look like? He's not going to say it's disgusting, take it off. You look fat. They're not going to do that. They're not. But so you're only doing it for yourself. And write everything down and you will be shocked, I promise you, when you see. And I used to keep what we called a food diary and I would write everything down, whereas now my food diary is counting my calories. I use an app called Noon. I don't know if you have it. I think you do because it's quite American. And if you hate calorie counting, don't do it because you're not going to stick with it. Julie said, I hate calorie counting.
I love it. Yeah,
tried it once and didn't even get to the implementation stage because the research was so overwhelming. A lot of people won't know the amount I know about food. They just won't. A lot like Julia's a great cook, so she knows exactly how to cook. You know, she'll cook all the lovely dishes, but by the time she'd have her calories put in, she's probably like, no, I'm fed up. I'm not going to do that. So for anybody out there doing that, I would say just get to know what your foods are even. So know what a carb is. I know that sounds silly, but know what a carb is, know what good proteins are, know what good fats are. And then it's just all trial and error after that. Nobody needs to follow any program they're not comfortable with because you won't stick to it.
And you got to find something that works for you. I find that for me, I think the accountability I use the app Lose It as the app that I use. And the nice thing is that you can scan any barcode. And then everything instantly comes up with how many calories it is. They have almost every food in there. They have Trim Healthy Mama food in there. So what I did when I went from strict calorie counting to 1,200 or less to doing calorie counting combined with Trim Healthy Mama is kind of what I'm doing now. I found that a lot of the Trim Healthy Mama foods were a little bit higher in calories. The S meals, the higher fat meals are going to be higher in calories, but it all balances out and I'm still losing weight as long as I'm still exercising and I'm just mindful of portion sizes too. Because I think some people are like, well, I'm eating Trim Healthy Mama. I can eat a plate this big, you know, with that much food. Well, then when you start calorie counting, you see how many calories are in that food, then you learn to kind of scale back.
Yeah, and Trim Healthy Mama isn't in Europe, but I've heard of it from women in my church who are American, but I actually haven't a clue about Trim Healthy Mama. I know you've talked to me about it before. we used to have lifesaver foods in the fridge. That's another term. So they're life-saving. So like for Sarah, who said, you know, you need survive, you're in survival mode, and you need to grab something. So lifesaver snacks would be a pot of soup in the fridge, or just something, a go-to food that you can put your hand in and grab.
Are all fruits and vegetables free?
Yeah. Fruits and veg. The better ones are the berries. Apples.
Lower sugar index, lower carb index.
Yeah, apples are quite high in calories, but when you peel them, and you know, they're not. Like in the morning, you'd laugh, you saw my breakfast, I have granola. So I would have a sugar-free 45 calories, usually 45 grams, I mean, is usually what I go for. And it's about 180 calories. And then I add in all my fruit. So I would add in raspberries, blueberries, chop an apple, maybe blackberries, whatever is in season. And then I do eat low-fat yogurt because I find full-fat yogurt affects my tummy. Low-fat, natural Greek yogurt, I'd have about 100 grams of that, and that fills me for the day, and it is delicious. It's like having the nicest snack ever, but it's breakfast. Or it could be oatmeal in the winter. Or I might have eggs. Like Sandra has chickens, and I just love them, and I love her eggs, so I've been having eggs here. So
eggs are so good, though.
Yeah, something that's going to fill you, but that's tasty. Somebody might look at my bowl of food and go, wow, you eat a lot for your breakfast, but that's what I like.
I don't think you eat a lot for your breakfast.
No. Okay, Sarah said, is portion size without the act of counting calories enough? I struggled with an eating disorder when I was a teenager, and looking at calories is hard for me. Then stay away from calories. So you would be better off looking at what's free foods like vegetables and fruit, high protein, low carb, stuff like that. But portion size doesn't matter when it's free foods. If you're eating till you're full, and that's something that we have to get used to, because I would eat my food and be full and still eat. That's the way I did it before, whereas now I eat until I'm full. And that's the one thing. And your body will tell you anyway, if you listen to it, you know, because if you're so full that you're like, oh, you know, that feeling you get up here.
Yes.
And like we got in Texas Roadhouse.
Texas Roadhouse. Yes, that's the feeling.
Yeah. So just eat until you're full. But anything that triggers anything like that for you, stay away from it, because it's not good. And it's going to lead to anxiety as well. Yeah.
And you have to do what's right for you. You know, I've tweaked things. I've tried so many different things. I've tried low carb. I've tried low fat. I think the thing that's working best for me at this point in my life, it's going to be counting calories.
Yeah.
You know? And I have a little bit more time on my hands right now with the help that I have at home, being able to make different things. So when I was a younger mom, I might have stuck just more to a basic low carb, you know, whereas now I can kind of tweak things. I can do a little bit extra cooking if I need to. But now, did you bring your whole family on board when you started eating that way? So you pretty much made the same meal?
Yeah,
or?
Yes, I did. But at the same time, they have their, you know, they're finicky at times. So like my eldest boy Niall likes, he would eat any like curry or bolognese or pasta or anything like that, but he wouldn't be a gravy person. So stew or casserole would be, he doesn't like that. But then I just give him his dry, you know, it's easy. It's easy if you have a main base, you know, then you can, but I wouldn't be cooking 2 or 3 different meals. I just couldn't, because that would just send me over. So, but as well, if you're, just say you're doing a roast chicken. So you've got a roast chicken dinner and you've all the vegetables, and then you have your potato. Now I know here you would eat rolls with meat, whereas we would have potato, veg and meat. So then I might have loads of vegetables like, you know, turnip. I love turnip. What do you call it? You've turnip here?
Turnip, yeah.
Yeah. So I would love turnip, and that would replace the potato for me. So it would be a lot of vegetables and my meat.
I make a roast with, it's not turnip, but the radishes. Radishes take the place of potatoes too, and they taste really good.
Yeah, there you go.
The same thing as turnip.
Yeah, and it's not the potatoes are bad, but I just found that I could have more turnip. So Sarah was asking, is there free foods in the list of the Trim Healthy Mama stuff? There
are things called Fuel Pool. Well, the thing about Trim Healthy Mama is with Trim Healthy Mama, I'm doing my own made up Cassandra version because I'm trying to tweak things that work for me and my body. But in Trim Healthy Mama, there is no calorie counting. There is just eating S meals and E meals, and you don't eat them together. So you're not eating fats with carbs. Basically, you're separating. And the carbs that you're eating are good carbs. Those are your oats, your quinoa, your couscous or whatever you called it.
Yeah.
Those are the good carbs that you're eating. So if you're eating a carb like that, like rice, you would eat it with low fat, like chicken. You would not eat rice and steak. But if you're eating steak, that's what you pair it with the buttery broccoli. You can have butter with your steak, but you want to eat eggs with an apple. So you would eat the apple separate.
See, that now would be too confusing for me.
Yeah. See, so I have a good grasp because I know it so well.
Yeah. So for me, it's just eating balance. That's me. That's just me, because if I have to think too much about it, then it becomes a chore and I just get annoyed. So the free foods, I suppose, Sarah, would be not carbs. Yes, protein without fats though. So if you're having a piece of steak, say the fat cut off, right? Or chicken without the skin. Not fried, say yes, fried, but in a good olive oil rather than a processed.
Like salmon and olive oil.
Yeah, now your coconut oil would be a good fat, but your free food then would be fruit and vegetables mainly. That's where your free. It
sounds a lot like Weight Watchers.
They
yeah. But you don't have points for Slimming World, right?
No, you have sins.
Yeah. So it's kind of like points.
Yeah. But you know what?
It's a lot like Weight Watchers.
Yeah. But what I've
done Weight Watchers before too.
Yeah. So if you're at home and you don't want to pay to go somewhere and you don't want to follow something, go back to basics. Go back to what we were given. Fruit, vegetables, lean meats, and lower carb. And you will see the weight come off. Good things like soup. So if you're making a soup, all you need is to boil your water and add some like chicken stock cubes or beef stock cubes, and add in all your vegetables. Like I love carrot, onion, parsnip, anything you have in your fridge, even some potato, it thickens it. Boil it all together, add in your herbs, your spices, whatever, and then blend it with the blender. Delicious. Put that in the fridge, and whenever you feel hungry, that's your lifesaver. So for Sarah, who has the kids and she's feeling a bit overwhelmed on a day, they're all sick or whatever, and she's like, oh, it's 4:00 and I haven't eaten your soups in the fridge. There's no excuse not to eat.
Right.
With your chicken or your egg muffins I was telling you about. The egg muffins with you could have some lean ham or scallions or onion or whatever you want in it. So there's your bowl of soup and your egg muffin, and you're eating free. Eggs are free.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
I have to do that during the week anyways because I'm teaching. And oftentimes in the 3 days I'm teaching, I only have a half-hour lunch break. So I like to pull stuff out of the fridge. Then I like to pull out leftovers, pull out the soup, heat up the soup. I eat soup a lot.
Yeah, me too.
And that's good for calories. Soup is very low calorie.
Very low calorie. Now, when you're making soup, if you want to make it creamy, you could add in 1 tablespoon into a big pot. It's not going to kill you, but you don't need to. And I nearly said tinned, but instead of buying canned soup, you're better off. It's cheaper anyway.
Make it a huge pot. Yeah.
It's cheaper. And there's nothing as nice as bread and butter dipped into a lovely bowl of creamy soup, but that's not going to lose you weight. So that's where you have to switch. And you can switch if you like bread and soup. Instead of saying, no, I'm never going to have bread and soup again, just switch to a slim bagel or whatever. You see, so those foods aren't going to kill you, and you might get fed up with soup after a while, but always have something like a big bowl of salad. Piece of fish is good too. Fish is really good for you. Tinned tuna in water as opposed to oil. So they're little switches.
Right.
You're still getting your tinned tuna, but it's not in the oil. The oil isn't necessarily bad for you, but when you're trying to lose weight, if you can just lose those sorts of bits and pieces. Things are coming back to me now. I loved omelets, soups, those muffins, and then your dinner. Like you can't go wrong with meat and veg. And jars, like if you're making a pasta sauce, a jar, if you look at the calories in the back and the amount of sugar in that jar, you'd actually die. You'd be like, oh my word, I can't believe I'm having that. Whereas if you make your own with just a can of tomatoes and fresh herbs, onion, whatever, chicken or beef, ground beef or whatever. And another thing you need to watch is the amount of fat in your beef when you're using ground beef. Just while you're losing your weight, afterwards, when you're maintaining, it's different.
Right.
So
another thing I do, what I did last night was when we made pasta, I get the, this is just to make it easier. I get the frozen bag of, they're called like veggie spirals, spaghetti squash, some type of squash. I warm that up and that's my base and meat sauce over it.
Lovely.
It's very filling. It's very low calorie.
Yeah, you can spiralize courgette. What do you call courgettes? Oh, the green things. They're not cucumbers, but they look like them. They're courgette. Yes. Yeah, we call them courgette. So you can spiralize those, or you can spiralize carrot.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's delicious if you're having a salad is just, and you want something sweet, carrot grated with pineapple. Fresh pineapple chunks, or even tin wouldn't be so bad. You're not going to have the whole tin. And you can have that in the fridge with a piece of chicken and some salad, or maybe just a tablespoon of rice or something. Rice plain and rice pasta dried are all free. When you start to eat fresh pasta from the chill section, they have oils and butters in them. Whereas when you have dried pasta or rice, it's free. So, you know, they're the types of free foods that I'm talking about.
I'm surprised those are free.
Yeah, because like they're plain. So the idea is to eat until you're full. So you're not having a big massive bowl of rice with, you know, you're having just your rice. And always remember 1/3 of your plate should be fruit or veg. Because that's going to fill you up, but it's less calories. So you're not calorie counting, but you're eating natural, fresh foods all the time. And people say, oh, that's really expensive. No, it's much more expensive to eat processed foods.
No, it's way cheaper eating healthier.
Yeah.
Way cheaper. A bag of chicken and a bag of rice is way cheaper than the packaged frozen meal, or you know, Pop-Tarts or chips or whatever.
100%. Yeah.
So, but yeah, the biggest thing for me with counting calories that I've found is I've cut out the snacking. The mindless eating, because for me, I like to track everything I eat. If I'm constantly grazing through the day, then I have to track every bite, right? So
that's where I say, if you don't want to track it in an app, write it down. Just write it down. And then maybe if you get a quiet moment that night, you can go back and go, okay, you know, I can see I didn't need to eat that. Or I did. And if you're listening to your body, am I actually hungry? Another thing I want to say is drinks. So water is so important because it helps your kidneys. It helps flush out all the toxins. So drinking water is really, really important. And again, if you've had kids, or as you get older, that can be difficult if you're out and about in the day.
Yes, I'm not the greatest at it.
Looking for restrooms, but here you have restrooms everywhere. So water is really important. And staying away from the sodas, even if they're diet sodas, they're full of nasty things.
That's another switch I made. I was a huge wild cherry Pepsi junkie, one a day at least. One a day. That's what I would limit myself to. That was a lot of added calories. So I switched that out for Ghosts. And that's an energy drink. But it's a good pick me up. It has 5 calories or 10 calories, and it's supposed to have, it doesn't have aspartame, it doesn't have the gross sweeteners in it that cause cancer. But it's one of the switches that actually my husband made a year ago when he lost a bunch of weight and he started calorie counting. He switched from Dr. Pepper to the Ghost, and then he got me on them. So I mean, they sell them at the gym, so
but you see, there you go. But it's
better than a soda.
Well, if your thing is soda, you're not going to give it up just like that. It's not going to work.
I need a replacement for some stuff like this. I need a replacement for drinks, for
Yeah, and that's why I don't like things that ban foods or that call foods bad foods. I don't like things like that, because straight away, what do? You want it. If somebody said you cannot have that food, it's whatever. But I do think about what I eat more. I just said that to you earlier, like I don't think of going to McDonald's or fast foods, because I'm just like, oh, and I don't feel well. Like we were on our way to Clinton last week, and the boys wanted to go to McDonald's, and my husband loves it as well. And I just got a nice drink instead of getting the food. Not because I was trying to be good. I just didn't want to do that. So just making healthier choices. And another thing, if you like soup, adding in pasta or noodles, you call it, you know, the spiral noodles or whatever,
like egg noodles, or
like, you know, the pasta spirals, they'll add to your soup as well, and just make it more wholesome, and throw in some chicken or whatever. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, anyway, that's where I would start. Just cut out the snacks, cut out the fizzies, and start writing everything down, and that'll help you. And even 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, and not to set the bar too high, because then if you fail, and that's one thing I had to learn as well. If I didn't have a great week, or like I'm on holiday and when I go home I know I'm going to be up a few pounds, it's not the end of the world. My world's not going to end. I just go back to where I was beforehand, and off I go again. Because we can beat ourselves over the back with a stick.
And that's another thing. I think both my friend and I were getting a little frustrated that we're sticking so close to this, and we don't lose. So for me, I feel it's better to weigh weekly rather than daily, because you can fluctuate. daily, and let's say you're perfect, and then you put on a pound, or you're the scale's up a pound, it's very frustrating. You're just like, oh, I just want to give up. I might as well just eat whatever, I want to eat or whatever.
And I mean, the weight experts will tell you only weigh once a week.
Yeah.
I weigh
It's better for me
every morning. I don't, it's just pure habit. I never weigh 10, 12, or in the afternoon or in the evening, because you're going to weigh heavier.
First thing.
So if you weigh at the same time whenever you want, once a week is really, really good. And if you are struggling and you have a friend who you feel won't look at you if you have weight on or whatever, weigh with them.
My friend and I know what each other weighs, and my husband doesn't even know what I weigh.
They never do. I'm always 7 pounds lighter than he thinks I am anyway.
I am now. So I remember when I had, I was telling her this. I remember when I had my miscarriage before Kelly, and I had to have the surgery. The anesthesiologist came in there and he said, now I need to know your weight. They kept asking your weight for because of the anesthesia. And my husband was in there, and I said, I'm not telling you with my husband in here. And he was like, okay. And then he never asked again, and he ended up leaving, but I'm down to that weight now. Brilliant. That I was back then before Kelly. So I'm at my lowest I've been since Kelly. So that's helping me. And I'm think of it this way too. Like, I get frustrated now when I do so well and my weight hasn't gone down, but I'm 10 pounds less than I was 2 months ago. So I would have loved to have been 10 pounds less 2 months ago. Yes. So why am I getting mad? Yes.
And it's hormones, and it's time of the month, and it's thyroid. You've thyroid problem.
I have half a thyroid, and the half that I have left over here has nodules on it. Yeah. So I have a lot working against me when it comes to losing weight.
Yeah. But what I don't mean this to sound nasty. I would never ever say anything nasty.
No, it's not nasty.
No, but you cannot have excuses if you're very, very heavy. I'm not saying you, I mean a person, and you cannot say, I don't eat a lot. I'm not heavy because I eat a lot. I'm heavy for a different reason, unless it's clinically proven, something that I don't know about. Then it's not. You're just not being fair to yourself, because everybody can lose weight. But I mean, I'll always have a weight problem. Always. I'm just like that.
I am too. I have very low metabolism. Like I said, I have all this working against me. So I have to be careful. I've told you before, if I didn't do what I did, I'd weigh 500 pounds.
Me too.
I know I would. If I would just threw all caution to wind, and I'm like, okay, just, because most people are like, why are you giving weight advice? You're still a little overweight yourself, but
because it's working for you.
A lot of work goes into it.
And I know how unhappy I was. I've been there. And I'm back there to a certain extent, because I'm back, watching everything again. I've clothes in the wardrobe that go from a size 8 to size 12 now. But like the 12 at one time, I would have just loved to be able to get into that. And it's not size either, it's how you feel. So that's another thing I want to say, health as well. So you're eating to be healthy rather than the vanity of looking well.
Yes.
And as you get older, it's so important. Like, I had rheumatoid arthritis, and then I'd have sore hip, or I just sore back, and it was all weight related. When I look back now, and maybe not the arthritis, because that's just a inflammation thing, but again, the foods I was eating weren't helping. So now I try to eat to feel good.
Well, and that's what I wanted to talk about too. It's not because we're vain that we're working on this. For me, I feel I can get down on the floor and play with my kids. Yeah. I can run after, I had to run after Hannah. Remember the other day when she took out the door?
Took off like a bullet.
I have to run after them sometimes. I've got toddlers, so I cannot afford to be obese. I cannot afford to have my knees giving out on me. I have to be healthy because of my children, because I want to live to see my grandchildren. And so for me, it is a health thing. And I'm trying to instill that in my daughters. It's not a weight thing or what the scale says, or even how you look. It's how your body functions, how your health is, because obesity will lead to fatty organs. Obesity will lead to heart disease. Obesity will lead to your joints hurting and, back problems. And there's so many things that
diabetes is huge, and overweight people. And it's because of, the insulin and everything that goes with it. So much hidden sugars in especially processed foods. The Quincy crew, I don't know what your name is, but she said any diet works, but is it sustainable? Consistency is key. And that is 100%. Because you cannot, like she said there, intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting for me, I was eating 3 meals then in 1 meal. So it worked. It helped me with my inflammation for a while, but just didn't suit me. So I do stop eating at 6 and I don't eat usually until 10 or 11 the next morning. So that in itself is fasting, if you like. But I do think to be sustainable, you have to find your food, your way. Like I could tell so many people, this is what you should do, but that's not how they live. They live totally different to me, same as you. So we're all different. People are different, and you have to find what's sustainable for you to
And
make
it's
it work.
funny when you have a
Hi,
family.
Jessie. Sorry, that's Jessie.
Jessie. Oh, hi, Jessie.
Yeah.
I met her when I was up there in March. So
Yeah.
that's funny. No, it's funny because their family's been staying with us for a week, and you see the different styles, of just different schedules and how things work differently for you. And you love breakfast.
I love breakfast, but you don't.
I don't.
And that's okay.
I don't.
Because there's a myth out there that you have to have breakfast for your metabolism to kick off. No, you don't. You don't have to have breakfast if you don't want to, so you're not hungry. Yeah. For me, I found that if I have 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I tend to be more balanced. But sometimes I might have breakfast and dinner and not lunch, or I might just have lunch and dinner. And another thing is exercise. I don't want anyone to think that you have to exercise. We said this already, but even just a little walk, 10 minutes more than you would normally do. Pop the kids in the buggy, head out on a good day. Even just do the block once or twice, and then maybe after a few weeks you'll do it a few more times, just something to get your heart rate going. I remember when I was very overweight and I had just had my second son, and I was just determined, and I used to walk for 10 minutes one way and 10 minutes the other way with the buggy with a friend of mine, and then it started to be 15 minutes, then it was 20 minutes. And now I go every single day, rain, hail or snow, I go out with my dog and I walk, and it might only be 4 kilometers, which would be what, 3 miles, 3.5 miles, maybe
something like that.
But
as a 5K is like over 3, isn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes could be 4 or 5K. That's what I would do. And then I put on my stepper, because that motivates me, tells me how many calories. But you don't even have to do that.
2.5 miles.
2.5 miles. Yeah. So 2 or 3 miles a day, or you might like you like to go to the gym or lift weights. But for me, I couldn't go to the gym when I was overweight, because I just felt I couldn't go in there. All the skinny people would be looking at me saying I'm fat, and I know that's stupid.
Hey, I had a little gym intimidation when I first started, because well, first of all, I already stick out because I wear my skirt over leggings, right? So I still dress like a lady even when I'm working out, but that doesn't bother me. But when I first came to start using the machines, when I'm new to anything new is a little scary, even for me who's Miss Extrovert, it's still a little scary. And that's why my husband went with me the first few times, just to kind of show me how to do everything. But there's people of all sizes in gyms, really. Yeah. And no one looks at you.
They're looking at themselves.
Yeah, no one looks at you weird. No one looks at me weird. And I really enjoy it. It's my personality type. I really enjoy, that's kind of my stress relief. Yeah, is working the machines and kind of getting out a lot of I sit a lot while teaching piano, and so for some, maybe it's walking. For you, it's walking.
Could be cycling, could be running.
For me, it's weights, but
running did not agree with my body. No,
I do not like running.
No. I used to do spinning because I loved it, but then the music just was just, and then my knees as well. So look, everybody has their thing, but again, it's like the food. You have to find what works for you. So I just want, because we were talking, we had a few things. Base meals as well are really, really good. We discussed that. So you start off with like a ground beef mix, and then you might add chilies and whatever the next day. It could be chicken, it could be cooking lots of vegetables and making a big soup, or it could be whatever, but having base meals so that you're not always in the kitchen cooking. That can be very off-putting for some people. Because you want to make it easier when you're cooking for a big family.
And I know for me, I like to do at the beginning of the week a couple things that I really like, maybe that are Trim Healthy Mama. I'll cook up a cauliflower crust for pizza, and I'll make a cauliflower crust pizza, and then I will section it off and put the sections into baggies and grab a baggie out on my teaching days. Warm that up and then have a salad with it or fruit with it or something. So I like to cook some things at the beginning of the week, and then I can eat those the whole week. So that's one thing that works for me.
Good. Yeah. And again, you can cook foods that you can put in the fridge, or that I never throw out leftovers. I always make something. Now obviously there's things but I always will make, so what you had for dinner the night before, you could have a smaller portion for lunch the next day. So if you've got a lot of kids and you made a pasta dish, or you made a curry or whatever, you could just keep a piece aside and have it for your lunch the next day with a salad, so that you're always prepared. Or if you have a day that you could bulk make,
Mhm.
you know, make food. So when I was coming here, I knew my son was going home a week before us and he was working, and just to help him out, I made extra portions and I put them in the freezer. He just takes them out and, you know, cooks them when I'm gone. So yeah, Julia said there's this guy that does trying out a new gym, videos clipped together with all the weirdo gym goers that post their videos. It's pretty funny.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
you can do the gym at home.
You
if
can.
you want to,
You can.
if you're not comfortable going to the gym. So another,
How many workout videos are online?
loads, yeah.
YouTube, just YouTube
Yeah.
stuff if you like working out at home.
Yeah, I live in Ireland. The weather is cooler than here, so I wouldn't be saying you do a 4K walk here today, especially, but I like to get out in the air. Okay, anything can be a salad topping, so I've found recently.
Like meat,
Mhm.
veg, any type of veg.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Chicken, chopped up, warm chicken salad, there's nothing nicer. Beef strips, prawns, fish, tinned tuna. I mean, it takes 2 seconds to open a tin of tuna and brine and mix it up with a bit of mayo and throw it. So
Majesty, that's a good rule. She said anything that falls off a tree, grows from a bush, grows from the ground. God's foods are perfect.
Yep, absolutely. The least processed foods you can eat, the better for yourself. Fresh fruit, fresh veg, fresh meat, the odd bit of carbs. So supplements that can help. Yeah, we were talking about this today because I suppose about 8 years ago, my legs, first of all, my knee was sore, then my shoulder was sore. A few weeks later, I thought I stepped funny, then my neck, and this went on, and eventually the doctor took bloods, because I don't really go to the doctor, I'm terrible. But anyway, she took bloods and she said, oh, you've rheumatoid arthritis. So I had to go to a specialist, and she tried to put me on this drug called methotrexate. So I'm not against drugs. I'm just saying, for me, it wasn't an option. It would damage my liver. It wasn't just good for me. And again, it wasn't going to get rid of the problem. It was only going to mask it. So again, I had to go back and look at the foods and look at what was causing my body to be inflamed the way it was. And then that's when I started to introduce supplements. And because as that lady said from Florida, Jessie said, a lot of the foods were poisoned with sprays and stuff they add in.
Right.
So supplements, you might not get the supplements that you need from your food. So therefore I take extra supplements every day. And I really found it helped my skin. It helped my arthritis. I rarely get, maybe every few years, I might get a flare up or something. And I know that I'm stressed or I'm doing something I shouldn't be. So vitamin D is very good. Magnesium is good. Zinc. NMN is a new one, and it helps your metabolism. Ashwagandha is good.
I want to try the MMN. I never heard of it.
Yeah, I think of the MMN. I know M&M sweets, but it's NMN. So it's one we've just started, and I actually really feel it working already. Ashwagandha is another one, and then depending on where you are in your life, a good one that I found is DIM, DIM. It's an estrogen leveler. So if your estrogen is too high, it's a balancer, I should say. If it's too high, it brings it down. If it's too low, it brings it up. So I don't have not one side effect.
And that's the one I cannot take that
because you get headache.
No, the DIM was what had the it affects my thyroid because it has the cruciferous vegetables in it,
like broccoli.
Yes, and that can make nodules bigger. So I can't take it anymore.
Yeah. And disclaimer, whatever I do might not suit you.
And you just always research.
Always.
If you're pregnant, nursing, you need to do your own research, even with ashwagandha and all those. So vitamin D, obviously, anyone can pretty much take that.
Vitamin D. And again, I have people at home who, would say, oh, I take 10,000 to maybe 30 if I'm not feeling very well. But other people might not like to do that because they could have kidney problems. It has never bothered me. MK7 it's the one with MK2 with the 7 in it or something. I always get that mixed up. You take that because it helps you absorb the vitamin D and all that stuff. So there's always other stuff you have to do. Ashwagandha, it's very good for stress, especially.
It's a good stress reliever. It was in some of my supplements postpartum for anxiety. The ashwagandha's in there.
Yeah.
So that helps with that.
Yeah. And these are natural things. Magnesium, magnesium is really important. Zinc is another one. And then you need to get the right balance of zinc because too much can damage your hair. Julia can damage your hair, especially for men. Yeah, so you need to get the right balance there. So that's really it.
Yep. That's really it. If you have any questions, just go ahead and leave them. What would be your one piece of advice for someone who knows they're heavy, overwhelmed, is a busy mom, says, I don't have time to take care of myself. I don't have time to cook for myself. I don't have time to eat healthy. What is the one piece of advice you would give them?
Make time for yourself.
Yeah.
15 minutes a day.
Mhm.
You have to put yourself first, because if you don't fill the cup, then the rest, everything else will fall down. Your kids,
Mhm.
you'll be down. You'll like, even if you got up that 15 minutes earlier just to make that pot of soup or make those snacks, or
Mhm.
just give yourself that time. There is, I mean, I know I always used to say to the ladies in my group, because people would say, oh, I work, some of the women worked and some of them had, you know, busy lives and whatever. And I said, but you're not going to sustain it. It's not going to,
Mhm.
you're not going to last. You're going to fall down.
And you have to do something sustainable. That is, you know, you have to, because a lot of people will do the calorie counting and be very, very, very strict. And then as soon as they stop, they gain it all back.
Yeah. And
So
it doesn't
it has to
matter.
be.
So if you weigh yourself today and you're down 7, say you weigh yourself and you're losing consistently, and then you go on your holidays and you put up 6 pounds, so what? Just start again
Mhm.
and stop beating yourself over the back. You know,
Mhm.
just give yourself a break. So make time for yourself, even 30 minutes a day, to get your food sorted, and then that you know that if you need something, and go to God in prayer. And you're right, Jesse's right, go to God in prayer every day. And can I just say, the one thing about being overweight is you're wearing your sin.
Yes.
I used to say it all the time, because
You're wearing your weakness.
gluttony is a sin, and
It
then people can hide sin.
Yeah.
But when you're wearing weight, you don't get to hide it, and
Yeah.
that can be an awful feeling too.
Mhm.
But you know, don't be hard on yourself, and just give yourself a break. Start with just little changes,
Mhm.
just positive changes every day, and eventually all those pounds will add up. And even Cassandra said to me, oh, I'm losing very slow, maybe a pound a week.
Mhm.
Now she's 10 pounds down, and you don't remember what you were 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Right.
You know,
Right. No. Mm-mm.
and you can feel it in your clothes, and 10
Right.
pounds is dress size. So by Christmas, you could have 20 pounds. If you're starting now, that's 20 pounds, that could be 2 dress sizes.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yep. Just remember, I have to think about that sometimes. I would have loved 2 months ago to be 10 pounds less. Well, I'm 10 pounds less now, so I'm not gonna fret, you know, I'll just keep doing this, and it's sustainable. So
Yeah. And I had a friend, and we always laugh. She's a really good friend of mine, and we meet up maybe 3 or 4 times a year. And she was always my skinny friend.
Mhm.
And she battles as well. She
Mhm.
comes to me and says, okay, you know, what can I do or whatever. And she battles with her weight now. So it will catch up with you too.
Mhm.
As you get older, it catches
Yeah.
up, and it's harder.
My weight, we were just watching the movie from whenever I
Yeah.
had 4 kids. I was
Yeah.
so much skinnier than then, but I did nothing back then. It was just, it fell off because
Yeah.
of my metabolism.
But you eat well, you're healthy, and your skin is good.
Mhm.
And you know, it's not always about your size.
No.
But if you feel like you're heavy and it's getting you down, then you know you need to do something.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
just start small, be kind to yourself, give yourself those few minutes every day.
Yep, I agree. So I hope this was a help. I know this is something that is often asked about, so I wanted to do a show about it, just because I knew that Fiona had experience with food, knows her food.
Love my food.
Yes, loves her food, and has experience with, yep, and she stops at 6 p.m. most days and doesn't eat anymore. My husband's the same. He doesn't eat late at night. So,
And I'm not an expert, and I'm not a size
but you
8.
have helped a lot of women lose a lot of weight. You have.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you for the love,
Okay.
everyone. Okay.
Bye.
Well, we'll see you next week.